Okay, we are set to go. So I'm really excited about this topic as I was trying to figure out what would be beneficial to everyone that wasn't just kind of fluff. It was actually something applicable. So I think that hopefully this will add some value and you guys will be able to use this in your business starting now. So a lot of times we talk so much about our why, and we are always talking to each other and to our challengers, why are we doing this? What's our mission? What's our vision? And I think sometimes we may be able to grasp that, but we just don't really know how to share it, how to portray it. So I just wanted to kind of bridge that gap between, building up our why and being firm in our vision and our mission, and how to portray that on social media in a way that is effective. So we know that our vision and our why has so much more power than just ourselves. It can't just be about ourselves. It needs to expand out to our team and to our challengers and to just people that we want to connect with, because we have the opportunity to share and connect with so many more people than we realize because of social media. And we each have a very specific purpose. We are an expert in our lives, our unique situation. So our challenges, our triumphs, our, whatever we have going on in our lives, we're experts in those. And so we have the ability to help others that are going through those same exact things. We have also talked before about how we are not Beachbody robots, right? Like, we aren't selling, we are not, we are Beachbody employees, but really Beachbody is just the tools that we are able to use. But we are essentially the train that gets them to their destination. So when we are thinking about how we can portray that, it shouldn't really include much about Beachbody, but it should include our own vision, our own mission, and how we can help in that situation. So I know a lot of us have created our own avatars. We've kind of done those exercises before where you come up with this vision of this person that you are speaking to, right? So, what she might look like if she works full-time, or if she's a mom, or if she's a student, or if she's struggling with depression, or whatever those things might be. And essentially, it is someone that is very much like you. And that avatar, that person, should be who we are speaking to in all of our posts with our social media, right? So think about who you were before you were introduced to Beachbody at all, whether that was through a challenge group or whether it was before coaching. Think about the things that you were struggling with. Think about the things that made you say no the first time or the second time or however many times your coach invited you. Think about the reasons you said no, the challenges that you were going through, the things you are working through when you started that first challenge or when you started coaching, and think about what it was specifically that spoke to you. What made you say yes? What made you commit to a challenge group? What made you say yes to checking out coaching? And use those as a way to help speak to the person that is needing you and needing your specific personality and someone to connect with them. What did you need to hear? So most of you know that when I speak, I don't really hold anything back. I'm pretty bold about how I speak with regular conversations, and that comes out in my social media posts. I speak how I would normally speak. A lot of times that comes down to like kind of a tough love, truth bomb kind of thing, because that's what I needed to hear back then. I needed like no nonsense because I'd been given myself so much nonsense that I needed to hear it like bold and laid out. So that's how I speak. And I know that that doesn't connect with everybody, and that's okay, because there's somebody else that can speak to them, that can relate to them, that would be a better fit for them. Okay, so when we are really clear on our mission and our vision and the person that we want to speak, the things that we want to create within our business, that is when we can really hone down and create a powerful brand. So we're not like Beachbody robots. We are our own brand. And that can be really powerful when we use it correctly. So how does it translate into how you show up for your business in creating your brand? I thought of 3 things. I thought of how we share and not sell, our daily life and what we are manifesting, and how we are showing up in our social media posts. I love the concept that we are showing and not telling. We refuse to be mundane and mediocre and just like everybody else. So when people are following you and connecting with you and saying yes to you and engaging in your posts and want to be a part of your life, it's because of you, not Beachbody. It's not because they want like the latest fitness program. It's because they connect specifically with you and your brand. So when you are creating your posts, are you conveying the tones, the vibe, and the message that is the same as your mission and your vision for your business? So the way that we can create our own brand and set us apart from everybody else is by being consistent with that message. So this is picking the same filters for all of our pictures. So that's when somebody is scrolling, they can see your picture and they know that like it's going to be you without really even stopping. Like they know that it's going to be you because the type of picture that it is, the color scheme, the fonts are all consistent. Everything is just the same, and so they know that it's your brand. When you see Levi, like it's Levi. When you see Apple, it's Apple, because they are very consistent with their brand. And that's how we should be with our brand. But we need to remember to keep it simple. Like I have noticed that, as my old posts come up from, a year or 2 years ago, the way that I'm speaking and the way that my pictures look are much different than they were before. And I think that my brand has evolved since then. The reasons that I am coaching and showing up for myself are different than they were back then. So it's okay for our brand to evolve and to grow over time. But just staying consistent in whatever feels good to you. And we want to remember to look professional, but we don't have to be perfect. It doesn't mean we have to be spending hours on, cropping pictures or picking out the perfect font or the perfect cutesy frame or words or something for our pictures. It shouldn't be that difficult. If we can keep it simple and just make sure that it, stays congruent to our brand, then that is what's going to be the most effective. And this is, the same as with, Facebook and Instagram. These are very visual platforms. And I've heard so many times that your timeline or, on Instagram, that you want that to look like your magazine. And then your stories can be kind of your behind the scenes talk show, but still they should be translating into, using those same fonts, using those same filters or, whatever, so that it looks like you and people can be drawn to that. Let's see what else. Also doing a quick scroll test can help with this so much. So just going to your platform, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, and just taking like a quick scroll and just seeing what vibe or feeling you are portraying with your latest posts and your pictures. Is it something that is following in line with your mission, or is it can it be cleaned up somewhere? Because really we have to be so quick in grabbing someone's attention or they're just going to be gone. So do you get inspired by what you see when you go to your social media accounts? If it's not inspiring and exciting to you, then chances are it's not exciting and inspiring to the people that you want to connect with. Would you follow you if you came upon your social media account? Would you understand your own vision and mission if you just started to read a couple of posts? Would you know what you were trying to convey if you were somebody else? I love the advice from, I believe it was Micah Folsom, that said, when you're creating a social media post, don't just post just to post. Before you put up a post, do that test of, but so what? Like, is this educating? Is it entertaining? Is it engaging? If not, then so what? Like, don't post it. I think before, the way that social media was, it was kind of okay to get by with those type of posts. We could post like 3 to 5 times a day and it would be okay. But I think the way that social media is now, if we are just putting up those posts that don't really mean much, we can kind of train our followers to ignore our stuff. If they just know that it's just going to be whatever, they're not going to be educated or entertained, then we're going to train them to scroll right past our posts. So, we can get by with doing fewer posts as long as it's better content, so that when our picture comes up and they know it's us because we have been using those same filters and fonts and being congruent with our brand, they know what they're going to be getting in that post and they want to stop and read it. They know that it's not going to be boring or a so what kind of post. Again, speaking back, when we are speaking in our posts, we're speaking to that person that we were before we transformed our lives, whether that was through a physical transformation, whether that's been a mental or financial transformation, speaking to that person, and then using your everyday speech. So I am all about emojis. So I am stopped by posts that have a bunch of emojis. So that's what I'm going to use in my posts, because that's what's fun for me, and that's what engages and excites me. So that's what I'm going to be using in my posts. If that's not something that you like or that you would normally speak with or post with, then don't use them. So it doesn't matter what somebody else is doing. It matters how it's feeling to you. And if it's all of a sudden you're just using a bunch of them in some posts and then in others you're not, it's just not going to be consistent, and it's not going to be your brand. So think about the things that make you stop your scroll, whether it's a picture, whether it's the type of post that it is, the language used in a post. What is speaking to you? What's making you stop your scroll? And then take whatever that aspect is and translate it into your own voice and use that in your post. I have a separate group on my Facebook account where if I see a post that just I love and something about it inspires me, I'll save it to that group so that I can find things about it that I like, and then again translate it into something that I want to use in my post. But we should never be like copy pasting or trying to mimic or trying to compare our journey or our social media or our brand to somebody else, but we certainly can take inspiration from those. And I love following other brands or other people that are not Beachbody related, because those can be great inspiration for different ideas, different ways of branding that you want to use in your business. It doesn't have to be another coach, and sometimes it's better if it's not. Let's see. There is a really, really great branding quiz that I will post in our comments. I know some of us have taken it before with a social media training. So I will post that. It's totally free and it's really, really insightful. And I just retook it. I took it for the first time about 1.5 years ago, and then taking it again, my results were very different, which I wasn't really surprised because, again, my posts have changed significantly from 1.5 years ago to now. And so I was excited to see those results. And it was interesting. I love the things that it shows you because it will give you like different fonts. It will give you different words to use that might connect with your goal and your mission. Just help you kind of nail down that feeling that you might want to portray in your brand. So I will post that. I would suggest doing that test 2 times and then using those results from that test, combining them and creating something that's more you. There's also tons and tons of free brand tests. If you don't want to do that one, you can do another one, but I'll post a link in our team page for you guys to check out. It's been really insightful, but I would say that you need to get clear on your mission and your vision and your why before you take that test, because there's no reason in creating a brand that's not going to fit in with that vision, if that makes sense. So make sure that when you are speaking in your posts, that you are speaking again to that avatar and a very specific person, because when we try to speak to everyone, we are essentially speaking to no one. And I've actually been called out a couple of times by people on social media that have said that they have been offended by something I was posting, whether it was a picture or whether it was a message. And although I didn't mean to offend somebody, that was never my intent, I almost took it as a compliment, because that meant that I was speaking to a very specific person in a specific group and the way that I needed to be spoken to, and not being too general, if that makes sense. So you'll find that when you get specific, that you aren't going to connect with a bigger audience. You're going to connect with the right audience, your right tribe, right? We know this. Okay. So make sure that you are representing yourself visually in a way that translates to your mission. Just to wrap up, I know that sometimes when Beachbody launches a new product or something, sometimes it might not seem like it is us. You know, like a workout comes out and you're just like, it's just not me. It's just not my jam, or it's just not something I want to try. And so we just don't. Like sometimes we use that as an excuse to let that fear and excuse mindset take over. So whenever something comes out, it's okay for it to not like be your favorite, and you shouldn't like portray that you are so jazzed and excited about it if you're not. But I know that there will always be a way that you can find something with that product that will translate differently. You may be able to market it differently or to try it out differently than everybody else. So just maybe try and think about different ways. Like as an example, when the November to Remember came out, I remember thinking, so that was when we had that contest to try and win money for like schools and through Daily Sunshine and Double Time. And I remember thinking like, this just doesn't fit with me. Like, yeah, I should, because I've got kids and I have a great opportunity and I should want to like contribute to their school. But I let that excuse and that fear mindset kind of take over, so that I didn't even think of how I could translate that into my brand and my mission. So just an example, I think we have a lot of new things coming up. So just want to challenge you to find ways to use these new tools that we have to translate them into your brand and how you can help your specific followers be excited about it in a way that somebody else's followers wouldn't be, if that makes sense. Okay, in conclusion, we have a really great opportunity, because the hard part about our job is working on ourselves, is choosing that we want to level up in our life and in our fitness and in our business. So I just want to challenge each of us to live fearlessly, be bold in what we have to offer in the specific voice that we have, the people that we can connect with, and share it with all of our hearts, and to take time to really refine that, to not only do our own personal development, but to do our business development too, as we grow into an entrepreneur. You don't have to have a six-pack. You don't have to like do more burpees than anybody else. You don't have to have lost the most weight. You just have to be clear about what you want to create, and then portraying that to and speaking that to everybody else, to be able to lift others up and show them that you care and that we can connect on a level that is with love and encouragement. So that is all I had for you, ladies. Hopefully that made sense and gave you some ideas on some things that you can use to not only create your why, your mission, your vision, but how to portray that on your social media so that everybody else is aware of that. It was interesting. I posed that question on my Facebook account today, like, what words or images came to mind when you thought of me? And as I was just going through them, most of the words that people were choosing are words directly from that branding quiz. So I was excited that a lot of people were, we've only got a few minutes. I was excited that people were recognizing that that was the thing that I wanted to portray. So I was excited about that. So check out that branding quiz and then just live loudly, I guess.